Hi, I'm Adobe developer evangelist Kevin Hoyt. In this series, we've been exploring how to get started with HTML5 Canvas. In this particular episode, we're going to take a look at how to let the user draw for you. So we've taken a look, for example, we've taken a look at how to instantiate the canvas and how to draw lines on the canvas, how to change the colors of the lines and the fills and so on. But what if we wanted to let the user do the drawing? And that's what we're going to explore today. So if we head on over to Dreamweaver CS5, I've actually got a basic template of getting the canvas in place and active for us already. And we're going to in order to capture the user drawing, let the user draw and capture that, first thing we need to do is figure out that they've actually clicked on the surface and that they actually want to start a drawing. If you put your pen down, for example, on a piece of paper to draw, then we'll be able to capture that the pen is down and that they're drawing. So we're going to use jQuery for this example, and in order to address that, we're going to go ahead and listen on the canvas element, which is our canvas tag in this case, and we're going to listen for mouse down. Then we'll go ahead and get a function. We'll just use a closure here for a function, and we'll go ahead and capture that event. So now the mouse is down. Now what? Well, if you remember from our last episode, there are 4 different processes or steps involved in drawing a line. The first one is actually to clear what's being drawn. So the mouse goes down, we want to clear anything else that we have previously queued up to be drawn and start from scratch. So we're going to say context.begin path. Now the mouse is down, the list is ready. Let's go ahead and move the kind of pen on the paper to that point. So we'll say context.moveTo, and we'll say, in this case, we might be inclined to say, hey, event.pageX and event.pageY, which we would think is where the mouse is down on the page, but we don't want to move to down where it's down on the page. We want to move to where it's down on the canvas. So we're going to need to capture numbers that let us figure out how far the canvas is offset from the top left 0, 0 of the entire page. And to do that, I'm going to actually create a variable called offset. And it turns out that jQuery has a really nice little function called offset. So we'll go ahead and reference the canvas and we'll ask for offset. And that's going to give us an object back that has over left and down top properties, so left and top properties. And so now what we can do is actually say page X minus offset.left and page Y minus offset.top. So now we put the pen in the right place on the paper. We're ready to draw. We've set up the drawing. Now we actually need to capture that the pen is moving across the paper and actually be able to draw. So what I'll do here is go ahead and create another event listener. And you'll notice I'm doing this in the context of the mouse down event listener. I want to capture the mouse moving only in the context of when the mouse is actually down on the paper. So I'm going to do it inside of that mouse down function. So we'll say, hey, when on the document the mouse moves, we'll get an event, and we'll use that to figure out where we are moving from. Then when the mouse moves, let's go ahead and actually do some drawing. So let's go ahead and tell context to line 2 over event.pageX and event.pagey. Now again, that's not relative to the canvas, that's relative to the document. So we also need to be able to get that offset again. So var offset, and we're going to go ahead and reference the canvas element, figure out where it sits in the page, and call the offset function. So now we have the offset, so we can go ahead and put those in there. So offset left and minus offset top. There we go. So now we're going to draw a line to wherever the mouse is in the space of the canvas. And that will get us going. The other thing we need to do is when the mouse comes up or the pen is lifted from the paper, we need to stop drawing. So what we're going to do is go ahead and say, we use the same document reference we have for the mouse move. And we'll also say, hey, mouse up. We'll call a function. I'm not actually interested in the event, so I'm just going to skip over the event reference. And I'm going to tell it to take the document object and unbind or stop listening to mouse move and take the document, and unbind or stop listening to mouse up. So pull those events off so we can stop the actual drawing process. Now there's one other little twist in here that we need to actually add, and that is that we put the line 2 instruction on the list of things that we want the canvas to draw, we haven't actually told it to render out the drawing. And if you remember from previous episodes, we've done that by saying either fill or stroke. And so in this case we'll say context.stroke. And that will actually draw the line as we're drawing it. So let me go ahead, I've got my live view here, go ahead and refresh. So now I'm in the context of this active WebKit. And as I draw around, you can see that we draw a squirrely line here. In this case, as it follows my mouse. And if I continue to draw, you notice that I continue to draw new lines. In this case, you might say, well, how do you actually clear the canvas? So you can clear the canvas in a couple different ways. I'm actually going to just say, when the mouse goes down, I'm going to start drawing a new line. And so then you might say something like context.clearRect, essentially filling a rect that fills whatever space it is you were interested in. So we clear the rectangle from 0 to 0 to 200 to 200, which is the width of our canvas space. So tell the canvas to clear that section of the space, refresh it here, and as we start drawing now, we actually get a new clean space for us to draw each time. I'm going to add one little twist here. Actually, you know, I have a finished version of this with one other step taken, and I'm going to go ahead and flip over to that real quick. Just walk through some of the code here. You'll notice that in addition to where the mouse goes down on, I'm generating random colors. So I generated a random value for red, a random value for green, and a random value for blue, and then set the stroke style to that random color. And so that lets me randomly change the color for every time you put the pen down and draw. And it's a nice little effect on it. So we'll go ahead and turn on live view and make sure that's running. So now if I come in here and actually start drawing, we get kind of a dark purplish there, a blue. And so every time we're getting nice random colors generated for us to draw with. And who knows what we might draw with. But that gives you an idea of how to draw a colored stroke. And in this case, I've done it randomly. Your user might choose to provide to pick it from like a color picker or something along those lines. But at this point now we're letting the user draw whatever it is that they want and whatever color they want, in addition to being able to tell the canvas to do stuff that you want it to do, for example, like draw a chart programmatically and things like that. So that's user interactive drawing, if you will. And the next segment will actually take a look at adding user interaction, so letting the user grab on to things that are visible in the canvas and work with them. Until then, though, I'm Kevin Hoyt.